Minutes with me. I'm Bon Tran Fitness. This is Daniel Ashmeade from Ashmeade
Happy
Fitness.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying time with your family. It's a great time for that. And hope you're all staying safe as well. That's super important, and keeping your immune system up. But yeah, so me and Dan were discussing a few days ago about weight loss, and I know it's a big topic, so that's why we're going to cover it today. We're going to cover why you are not losing weight. It's such
some
a
reasons.
Yeah.
Some reasons, not all of them.
Yeah. And it's not just like, it could be something internal or external, mostly internal, right? What you're putting in, right? With your sleep, right? Exercise and all those things. So we're going to dive into that. And I'm going to start. And basically, it's 20% of doing and 80% not doing, right? Not doing, drinking the alcohol, and just making your choices, right? Not doing that will help you contribute to your success, contribute to where you want to go, right? And 20% is the doing part, right? And there are 3 hormones that most people face, which is that prevent you from losing weight, which is insulin, right? It's a fat storage, right? Second thing is estrogen, right? Sometimes when you have a heavy period, right, for females, too much estrogen will cause that. And then cortisol is the last one, right? Stress.
Good old stress, baby.
Woo! Right? When you face stress, that is a big one. Like, a lot of people face that. But yeah, moving forward, besides on the same topic as hormones, you want to be triggering your growth hormone, right? How to do that is pretty much fasting, right?
Yep.
This is what me and Dan do, right? I've completed a month now at 23 and 1. Yeah, 23 and 1. And a few days ago, I did 25 hours. I broke the 24.
Broke the 2-4, baby. A full day no food.
I still have energy. I still feel fine, and I worked out before eating, and it was a good workout.
Felt fantastic.
Yeah, it's honestly, and you're just into that constant fat burning, right? When you trigger growth hormone through fasting, through sleeping, make sure you have 8 hours or more, and exercise.
Yep.
But when you put all those 3 together, man, you just growth hormone all day, baby.
And remember, with the exercise, it's not cardio; it's heavy resistance training or HIIT workout. Getting the heart rate up, make sure it's intense.
Yeah.
So not that steady state jogging or any of that boring stuff. Well, if you like it, people, sorry. Bonnie and I don't like cardio, so we call it boring. But if you love it, great. But if you want to stimulate growth hormone, it needs to be intense.
Yeah. The on, off. And remember, guys, like, your weight is a secondary problem. It's not a primary. You got to fix what's causing that problem, right? And so I'm just going to go into tips of why you're not losing weight, right? And this may apply to all of you. This may not. And just take notes as well, right? And there are definitely body types that we're going to talk about later. But first, I want to go into these types, these tips. So number 1 is sleep, like I talked about, right? I remember when I was younger, and I would like sleep 12 hours every single day, and no wonder like I burnt so much fat, and no wonder like I've ate all this food and I still didn't like lose weight. Put on
body fat, yeah.
Yeah, it's because I realized that sleep triggers growth hormone, like we talked about, and you want to make sure that it's quality and quantity, having those 8+ hours, right? And naps are necessary too, like
very essential.
If like for business owners, right, people with high stress, people with working overtime all the time. You want to be taking those naps. I know I needed it when going through like this busy seasons and stuff like that, right? Number two, sugar and alcohol, right? Sugar and alcohol spike insulin, right? Which is the not fat burning hormone, right? It's going to block you from burning fat. Third thing is meal prep. Meal prep, if you are not preparing your food, you're preparing to have failure with that, right? Another thing is eating too much carbs, right? When you have too much carbs, you have high insulin, right? And then you can create something called insulin resistance. And this is something that we talked about in our last video with what is our take on intermittent fasting. And when you have insulin resistance, right, you're not able to lose that weight, right? You have to fast to get rid of that, right? Recycle your body, cleanse your body, right? When you're not eating, you're healing, is what Dan told me, and it makes sense, right? At least 18 hours if you have a lot of insulin in your body, right?
Yes.
So then you can hit that autophagy, right, which is the recycling of damaged proteins and stuff like that, right? Cleansing the cells and stuff. So moving on, number 5, snacking, right? Snacking too frequently, right? That every time when you eat, you're gonna spike insulin, right? So like I realized that too. It's like, I would eat. Me and Dan, ate like 6-7 meals a day way
all
before.
day long, drinking or eating meals. Yes.
Yeah, and that's just gonna spike your insulin up, right? Dan lost a lot of weight through COVID, right? He fasted and he just cleansed his whole body, and now he just feels better than ever. Adjust your fat. Sometimes when you're having too much high fats, you may not, like, healthy fats are good, but maybe if you have too much, you may be putting on, but just adjust it to where you can survive from your first meal to your next meal, right? That's what healthy fats are going to be for.
Right.
And then strengthening other problems, right? Whether it's pain, right? Your menstrual cycle, right? Sometimes you have heavy periods, your sleep, your stress, your digestion. Sometimes it's something internal. And then another thing is not burning your body fat, right? Because you have two things. You have your own body calories, right? And then you have the stuff that you consume, right? Sometimes you're burning just the dietary calories, but not your own body calories, right?
Exactly.
And that's just leveling it out, or just, you're not able to break through that. So you've got to change something in your nutrition. And then the last thing is deficiency of nutrients, right? Sometimes you're lacking something, right? I know sometimes when you're lacking potassium, right? And that's going to cause, like, say if you're a stressful person, you have a lot of cortisol, right? You're not losing weight because of this stress, right? But sometimes when you have more potassium, you're going to calm your body a lot more, right? Having more of those vegetables, and I know beetroots are good. I know people say banana, but there's a lot more other healthier options like beetroots, avocados, squash. That's why I can think about in my head right now. That's on the top of my head.
Potatoes too, yeah.
Potatoes too. But yeah, those are things of why you're not losing weight. Dan, what's your take?
Totally agree with everything. One of the best lines I ever heard was, everything in your body is trying to make you feel better and be better except you. And if you really put that in, boom, right? Everything in your body is doing what it can to be as efficient and healthy as possible except you. So going back to your original one with the hormones, yes, all three are correct. Insulin, estrogen, and cortisol, all normal. And that's the other thing I was saying from before. Remember, your body wants to survive. That's all your body wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So to touch base with the insulin, it's doing its job. So if you're consuming too much, like you said, your body now is pumping too much insulin, and therefore the right fuel source is not going to the cell, therefore insulin resistance. The second one with cortisol, our body needs cortisol. It needs the stress hormone to fight or flight. But from hundreds and thousands of years ago, it was a short period of time. Or when we work out, it's a short period of time, which our cortisol is risen. So therefore, our glucose is high. Therefore, it suppresses our hunger. But all this extra stress that we put on ourselves, family, work, traffic, TV shows, media, politics, we're in a constant state of stress. So therefore, we're constantly increasing our adrenals and pumping our adrenals out, and therefore they run out. And every time you calm down from adrenal fatigue, you become hungry. So that's why people realize long day work, you don't eat all day because you're um, pumping your adrenals and cortisol all day long. Now you get home at 9 o'clock, your adrenals are wiped, you're wiped, so all you're doing is eating all night. It's perfectly normal. Any animal, if you see in the wild, chasing something or running away from something, once it's done that fight or flight, what is it looking for? Food, because its body's expelled all the glycogen in its system, and it's an empty tank, so it needs to eat. So remember, people, these things are normal, and that means your body is working the way it's supposed to. Some other things that you might not have touched on, which is ironic, maybe you're eating not enough. Maybe you're having a restrictive diet for way too long. So
Yeah.
people, remember, your body once again wants to live. So therefore, if you're restricting certain foods or restricting certain calories, eventually your body's just going to slow its metabolism down to make sure that it lives. And therefore, you're going to have to keep restricting, and then your metabolism is going to go down, and it's a vicious cycle. So that's why Bon and I definitely recommend intermittent fasting instead of restrictive diets. The reason is when you eat until you are full and until you're satisfied. So your body knows that it's not in a starvation mode. So therefore, it can get rid of body fat because it doesn't need to store it, because it knows it's going to get a meal at some point in that day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else did we talk about? Yes, preparation is great. Even if you can't prepare food, even planning out where you're going to eat in healthy places, so you know if you can't make a meal, you know you're going to go to an all breakfast place, you're going to have a nice keto breakfast, or you're going to go to a wings and have wings and Caesar salad. So you know that you have these areas and these places that you're going to eat that are healthy, so you don't have to stress. And when you're starving, you're just not going to go to the first place that you see.
Yeah.
Also, working out too much, putting yourself to too much stress. So be
Overtraining.
careful with that. Overtraining is huge. So if you overtrain, or which that's what people don't realize, stress is stress. Working out, yes, is called euro stress, which is a positive stress, but also if it's too much, it becomes a negative. So make sure that you're getting enough rest in between your training periods.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest any more than 45 to 60 minutes of working out, especially if you're starting out as the beginner to intermediate. And then if you're eating more and sleeping more, yes, you can maybe work out a little bit longer if your body's able to do that. So you're going to reduce your chance of pain and overstressing your adrenals. Sleep, so important. Not Michael Jordan, LeBron James and every other high-end athlete, they sleep 12 hours a day. That is the only way that they're able to perform at the level that they do all the time. They sleep 12 hours a day. They put sleep as number one thing in their whole life. Sleep and food. Quality whole foods and lots of good sleep. Some people say I can only go off 5 hours, 6 hours. That might be true, but like Bon said, take your naps. I remember there's times when I'm not going, I'd be watching TV, or I'd be chilling or even driving. As soon as my body is calmed down from go, 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 I tend to pass out because your body just thinks this is its moment to like, oh, I can take a rest now. So a lot of the things I love people to do is start being intuitive and really listening to their body and what their body is telling them. And then touching on your nutrition deficiency, I want to deep into a little bit more. So when it comes to hunger, guys and gals, there's 9 different types of hunger. And there's only 2 hunger types that we should really worry about. So the 9 are visual hunger, that cake looks good, you want to eat it. Sound hunger, you hear a bag of potato chips, you hear popcorn. What do you want to eat? Potato chips, popcorn, it triggers that hunger. Okay. Smell hunger. You smell fresh baked bread. You smell cinnamon buns. You want to eat it. Touch hunger. You want to eat potato chips or nachos or hot dogs. They just feel good in your hands. Mouth hunger. You love the crunch of chips. You love the smooth, silky taste of ice cream. Okay. Gut hunger, stomach hunger, which is true hunger, that emptiness in your stomach when you really need food, which also goes to cellular hunger. Are you hungry for salt? Do you need sodium? Are you hungry for um, sweet because you need sugar, right? You need glucose. So those are the two real hungers that really matter. The other ones aren't really there, but they really are more external factors, like Bon was saying, external factors that trigger you to hunger. The other ones are mind hunger. I need to eat this. I have to eat keto. I have to eat breakfast. I have to eat 6 meals a day. I can't. Because of external forces telling you what to do. And your last one would be heart hunger, comfort food. You're lonely, you're sad, you're happy, right? Emotionally, now you want to eat. You eat because you feel lonely, you want connection. You eat because you're happy because you got a great clothes on a deal, right? You eat because you're in a couple and then it's love. You know, you eat something because chocolate chip cookies remind you of grandma. So just take a step back sometimes and really just think within yourself and figure out what are you hungry for and why are you hungry. Are you hungry because you need salt? Maybe you need, something a little bit saltier, some Himalayan salt, or something sweeter. So maybe it's just some berries. Are you hungry because you haven't eaten in the last 8 hours and your stomach is empty and now you're really hungry? Or are you hungry because you walked by a billboard and you saw McDonald's? Or are you hungry because somebody told you about amazing pie they had last week and it sounded so good? So really just taking a step back and just thinking about where that hunger really is coming from. Also, when you're stressed in times of panic and worry, comfort food seems to be the biggest one that comes to a lot of people too. So just be aware of that. What else can I touch on? I think we did it. We did a good job with it on the most half, right? So just, the biggest thing would be the fasting. The fasting gives you a chance to really reset your hormones, reset your mind, and reset why you're eating. Taking a break and not just eating mindlessly, but eating mindfully eating. Taking a second, eating without distraction, without television, without being on the phone, without your cell phone. And then really taking in the nutrients and feeling full and stopping to eat when you're actually full. And also some other tips too. Yes, the carbs, eating too often, and with the fats. Remember, fats are great and their main purpose is to help you feel fuller longer. But yes, if you eat too many fats, you are going to gain weight, people. Fats are good for you. Yes, you can get fat from eating too many avocados and bacon, believe it or not, right? You can get fat eating and drinking too much coconut oil and olive oil. Remember, they are higher dense calories. So if you're eating more of them, you are going to gain weight. So
Mhm.
another tip is eat slower. It takes about 20 minutes for your satiety hormone to kick in. Okay. So it takes 20 minutes for you to actually, for your body to start realizing I'm full and I don't need to eat anymore. So when you're eating on the rush or you're eating fast or you're eating when you're distracted, you always need to eat too fast, too quickly. And before that time comes, you feel gross, especially for Thanksgiving and times like this.
Yeah.
And another tip that helps is chewing more often. When you chew more, you actually get more of the nutrients coming into your body from your saliva before you even swallow. And also, when you chew less, you're going to feel fuller sooner. But we live in this fast-paced life where we eat on the go, we eat in the car, we eat when we stand, we eat when we walk. And unfortunately, it's a North American thing. I heard that in Japan and other places in the world, India, it's a disgrace and it's taboo to eat while you're walking. It's taboo to eat while watching television. Eating is supposed to be sacred. It's supposed to be a special time for you to connect with your food and connect with your family and connect to the people around you. And I really believe that as a culture, we need to get back to that. That's what it was before. Once again, I always saying obesity and metabolic syndrome and adrenal fatigue and all this stuff is only within the last 50 years. This stuff never happened
Yeah.
before 50 years before now. So we can't say this has always been going on, right? It's our mindset. It's the way that we've trained ourselves to be. And unfortunately, it's not the right way.
Yeah. And we have abundance.
And we have too much. And for a world with abundance, we stress about food way too much, right? We got to get back to our childhood, eat like kids. When we ate, we enjoyed food, we played with food. You know, we broke food in little bits and we made little toys out of them and made little men and, you know, really enjoyed it. You know, food was a pleasure. Right now, food is a stressor, and that's the sad part.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's all I
That's
got. I just got to get deep into that, guys, because
yeah.
to me, it's really a mindset. You know, it shouldn't be so stressful. All these things, that tips that Bon and I have given you have been amazing tips, but unfortunately, they shouldn't even have to be there, because if we just calm down for a second, you know, prepared a meal a little bit more, you know, made food with our families, made food ourselves, slowed down when we ate, put the phone, the TV away when we ate,
Mhm.
really listen to our hunger, find out why we are hungry, right? Not worrying about food. Food shouldn't be a constant thought or a constant stressor or a constant worry in the day. Everything else is too important,
Mhm.
right? Sleep more, exercise, play, you know? Those are the things that are more important. And when that becomes more important than food, we don't have to worry about weight loss as much.
Yeah. And it's about putting your priority. Like I was talking to a client. It's like, you know, there's too much external distractions, and think of your own business, right? If you want to lose the weight and then get further with your success in your weight loss journey, then this has to be a priority. You got to fix
Yeah,
this, right?
yeah,
And ultimately, when you take care of your health is going to take care of everything else.
everything else. And try not to lose it too fast, guys and girls, too. Because if you lose it too fast, your body's gonna fight against you. Your body feels like it's in a starvation mode. Your body, remember, we're bringing in traits from hundreds and thousands of years ago when we lived in famine and times of no food and times of, you know, when we have poverty. So our genes are made. That's why when there's lots of food, we eat a lot, because back in the day we had to eat a lot because there'd be more times without food. But that's not the world we live in today. So a good healthy weight when it comes to body fat loss, as weird as it sounds, I would say would be 1 to 2 pounds of body fat a month,
Yeah,
especially at the beginning. Give yourself grace and don't worry about the fat loss. Just worry about the process. If you're doing the process right, the outcomes will happen. It might not happen as fast as you want it to, but you know what? You know why? We want it too fast. It has to happen gradually. When it happens gradually, it will stay off. If we grit it and want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, we're going to gain 40 pounds in the next year. We want to lose 50 pounds in a year, 2 years. That's okay, because it's the new lifestyle that we're beginning, and therefore that new body will stay, right? It's a lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not a short term. It's the new you. So the new you is going to take time, because it took time to become the you that you are right now.
exactly. No, for sure. And sometimes when you do lose a lot of weight, sometimes it's water weight too, right?
Yeah.
If you see a drastic
Yeah.
drop. But yeah, moving on. If you guys have any questions, right, definitely drop a comment below and reach out to us, right?
Yeah.
But we're here to help you and also help you understand, right, about your body. And this is where we're gonna go into body types. And there are 4 body types that you will like that we interact with, and one is going to be the adrenal type, which is basically the adrenal body type, which is basically a sagging belly, right? And it's all caused by cortisol, right? Stress and all those stuff. And then the second one is the liver body type, which is if you have a pot belly,
Hard,
or
hard
yeah,
protruded belly.
yeah, or a basketball belly, then that's called the liver body type. And then the third one is the ovary
Mm-hmm.
body type, right? Which is more, the weight is more in the, like a mom pooch, right? With and the weight is on your hips as well. And then the fourth one is going to be the thyroid one, where you have the weight everywhere, right? And so Dan's going to talk deeper into each one, but
Yeah, so
those are the four.
the four. And what we'll do is I'll just touch a little base on each one.
Yeah, we'll do a separate video on
yeah,
this later
about how to kind of get through them. So the reason why the thyroid or the metabolic syndrome is another way that they say why that one's the whole body, because that's fat is going everywhere because your metabolism is low. Your metabolism is not running as fast as and as hard as it should. So therefore you're gaining weight everywhere, right? Arms, legs. Because remember, body fat, unlike muscle, where muscle has specific areas where it wants to go, where it should build, body fat just finds any spot it can and it will just find a home there. Okay. Yeah. So metabolic, it will usually go everywhere. Liver, which is mostly in men, you'll see more in men than in females, is hard protruding belly. And the reason why it's so hard to protrude is because there's a lot of fluid, because the liver is fatty. It's a fatty liver. Therefore, it's not filtering out the food like it's supposed to and the nutrients. And that's why a lot of alcoholics and also people who eat a lot of red meat and steak have the same protruding belly, because that's a lot of work for your liver to process all that red meat. Yeah. So it's a lot of fluid that happens in your body, why it's hard and protruding.
And poor eating habits too will cause that too, right? It's alcoholic as one of them, and then you can get non-alcoholic, which is just poor eating habits.
And I see a lot of guys who don't drink, especially in my church, who don't drink, but they eat a lot of red meat and they eat a lot of bad foods and sugary food. So therefore, it's just too much for the liver to process, because your liver has to process everything you eat, and therefore it's just overworked and it's swollen and it's
and think about, guys, the liver has 500 different functions.
Liver is super, super important.
Yeah.
The third one, adrenal. And the reason, and then the like you were saying, the tummy is more saggy, but also you lose your bum and your legs. And the reason being is because the adrenals are stressing your body so much, it's actually taking the protein and eating the muscle mass off your glutes and using that as a protein source, because your cortisol levels are so high that your insulin is so high.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have insulin resistance. So your body cannot process the food that it's supposed to and the proteins properly, so it's taking it from the muscle. So you'll find you have a bloated, a protruding stomach, but also you have no bum. So that's another way to know the adrenal.
And then it can also create cellulite too.
Yes, right? Cellulite that's around the legs.
And remember, like, we're going to touch all of this in more detail later in a different video, but cellulite is not fat.
No.
But yeah, keep going.
And then the last one would be the estrogen.
Yeah, the ovary.
And that's why you find a lot of ladies, the hips around the ovaries. So the hips, the bum, that's where the estrogen sits. Bigger
and the
legs.
mom pooch.
And the mom pooch. So that's more, of course. Some guys could have it, but I've seen some dudes have it, actually, to be honest with you. But that's mostly for ladies because it was just too high estrogen. So in the one's future, we'll talk about ways to help each of the body types and then get there.
Yeah. Well, guys, there you have it. Why you are not losing weight. I know it was a power pack. Pretty much like a conference in a way. I think of this as a conference, but it's just about learning your body type, learning and experimenting, right? And really figuring out what is the cause of your fat gain, right? Right? Not necessarily, calories and stuff, right? Because not all calories are the same, but yeah, just figuring out what to do, right, to address your problem, to figure out what do I got to do, right? Figuring out the problem and then what to do to take action on it.
Because there could be, and remember, there could be multiple problems that are going against you. So a lot of things I get some of my clients to do is journal. Journal their meal times, journal when they're hungry, write down what kind of hunger. Remember the 9 types I talked to you guys about. Are you hungry because it looks good, it sounds good, it smells good, it feels good? It feels good in your heart. You're told you're supposed to eat this. Is your body craving something? Is your stomach empty, right? After you eat, how do you feel? Write down how you feel during the day. When are you most tired? When are you most hungry?
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to find out there's going to be trends. That's what it is. It's always trends. And then when you start figuring out the trends, then you can figure out some ways to overcome them.
Yeah. And oh man, I just lost my thought. But anyways, yeah, no, I got my thought. Sorry. Yeah, so same thing with my clients. Like, I honestly get them to text me, send them a picture and also give the description of what it is, right? So then I can see, what they're eating, and then afterwards, it's just having that accountability with your trainer. If you don't have a trainer, then definitely do it yourself and
Get a trainer.
just or get a trainer. But with my clients, they send me a picture, they have that accountability, and then I text them back, give them feedback, or I'll ask them, hey, how do you feel? That's literally, if I know some of my clients are gonna watch this, and they're gonna be like, yeah, like I literally asked that word for word, how do you feel after eating that meal? Right.
Mm.
And then they're going to be like, good, right? Because you want to feel satisfied. You want to feel good after eating your meal, right? So, yeah.
Cool.
All
Exactly.
right. That's it for you guys. We'll definitely get more videos out there for you guys and talk about the body types in more detail and cellulite. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving. You guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And you can reach us on social media, right? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And yeah, leave a comment below and ask your questions.
Yep. You guys are what I'm thankful for. So happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. All right. This is Minutes with me. I'm Bontron Fitness, and this is Daniel Ashmeade. And we will see you guys next week, next Sunday.
Peace.
All right. Peace.